Hi, everybody. Today's artwork is going to be called Boats in a Landscape, and we are going to be inspired by the artist Hundertwasser, who loved boats so much, even since he was a child. And he actually bought a boat. He decorated it with beautiful stripes, very colorful, and he actually sailed around the world and did his painting. And while he was sailing around the world, he planted so many trees. He planted over 150,000 trees to keep nature going. So we're going to be inspired to create a boat in a landscape or a seascape, right? If we're out at sea, a seascape in which we have our boats on the water. Look at how this one looks big and this one looks small because it's further away. Look at how I used rectangles and I stacked them to create a different shape of a boat. Now also notice that I made a horizon line, and this one looks like it's in the ocean because we can see the sun setting down over the water. I probably could even put some reflections of the sun on the water here. So this one is on the ocean. And when you look at this one, you're going to notice that it's not on the ocean. Now, how do I know? Because look at how I can see things on the other side. When we're looking at the ocean, all we see is the vast sea. Here I can see some trees in the distance, some houses, some lollipop-shaped trees like Hundertwasser liked to make them, some triangle-shaped trees that kind of remind me of evergreens, this bridge in the background. Oh, look at the birds, clouds, stars, swirls. I'm going to add more swirls to make it look like the wind is blowing. My sailboat. Here I bent my triangle to make it look like wind was blowing on it in my picture. And people gave me such great ideas like a life raft. They gave, or what do they call those? Lifesaver? I'm not sure. I gave it a number. Somebody else named theirs. Somebody told me, put some waves up by the water so it looks like the water is choppy. I made one of my boats go right up and off the page. Check out my shark, even. That's me. Somebody said, put yourself in the boat, Miss Maestri. So I did. And then I started to add some fun details to my piece. I'm going to be thinking about color. You can see I thought about color here. Now I'm going to be thinking about color here. So I'm going to show you how I got started. Very first thing I did, and you'll notice that I did it in pencil first because I wanted to sketch it out. And we don't always do that. Sometimes we start right away in marker. I'm going to sketch out my drawing. So I'm going to start with that triangle shape. Up, down, over. Oh, I made it a little bent. Is that a problem? No, it just means that there's wind pushing my sail. I could use a straight line, diagonal, and maybe that'll bend like it's a sail is bent. Nothing has to be perfect. And then for the shape of my bottom of my boat, I'm going to make it almost like when we make a bowl. All right? So it's like a rectangle, but it's a little more diagonal here, so it moves through the water easier. I might even draw the sail line there and here. And then what if I wanted it to be just a teeny bit more interesting? I might add another layer. Boop, 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 like that. And now it's starting to look more realistic, and I'll follow that advice somebody gave me. Add some waves covering the bottom of the boat. Good idea. I could put numbers or something on it. I could put a flag up there if I like. I could get fancy with shading, right? If I went along the lines and I did this at the edges, oops, and then I smear it. Look at how I make it look like it's 3D. Looks dirty too, right? But you can make it look 3D. If you go along the edges on the side of your pencil, you can practice getting shadow. I could do that on the side here too, near the edge to make it look like it's curving, and smear it. Sure, why not? And then I might make another one that looks further in the distance, so it's going to be a little smaller. And your sails don't need to be the same size. Maybe this one's going to be a little shorter. Whoop, like that, almost like a smile. And then I'm just going to make sure I look like I added it on. And I could even add like a little rail if I want to. You can keep adding things to yours. And then that other ship shape I did was like I made a rectangle with the curvy sides with another rectangle on top of it and another rectangle on top. I'm going to make it almost look like a roof. Maybe it's a houseboat. Maybe it has a flag on it also. And maybe it has some portholes to look out. And maybe there's a door here that you can go inside. I'm not sure. I'll think about what else I want to add. And now I have it, and I could add some waves on my water. Waves, waves, waves. I could add so many different things. There's somebody in the other class, they drew a ship, a fish jumping out of the water, looking like he was going to swim. Let's see. He splashed back in. Make it look like he's splashing water. He's splashing. Maybe I'd even make, if I was a fisherman, a line looking like somebody hooked him. But I'm going to make my horizon line off in the distance. So I'm going behind it because they're going to be in front of it. That's like overlapping. Right now it could look like the ocean, and I could leave it that way. I could even put a tiny ship off in the distance, right? So it looks so far away. Look at how it looks so far away back there. Or I could do like I did here and say, why don't you make a town back here and make all different kinds of buildings? Maybe I'll make my buildings look like they're alive. I might make some with roofs on them like this. Some different interesting shapes. Okay, doors. Maybe I'll make a sun up in the sky over here. Maybe I will make, I think I'm going to stick with the building theme here. And then it's going to go kind of into maybe a tiny building here. I could draw a bridge way far off in the distance. It's a little bit smaller than my other one. I'll make it look like it's going behind everything. I'll draw the lines down for the part that holds the bridge on, right? Almost like sailing around New York. There we go. And I might put another building, but maybe instead now I'm going to move into plants or nature. I'll put some trees in the distance. And what else? A lollipop tree. No, tree. Overlap. Triangle trees. Triangle trees. There we go. And fill in whatever makes you feel happy. You might have a cloudy day. You might want lots of fish. Maybe they're flying overhead. Maybe they're flying above the water. Add whatever you like to your piece that makes you feel good about your seascape. And when you're ready, think about what you want to color with. I actually like the idea of using watercolor for the water. And somebody in the other class said, Miss Maestri, that water is very blue. And they chose more of a greenish color because they said the water around New York is a little bit more greenish looking. That's a great idea. Maybe you want to try markers. Maybe you want to try, instead of filling it in like this, maybe you're going to think about interesting patterns. Maybe these lines won't be straight. Maybe you'll make them look more like the sun is radiating off into the distance. So many choices. Think about what you want to do with your boats with a landscape and have fun.